No,
That one's not mine.
that one's not yours. That must be yours then. She's waving to somebody. John, is that your daughter?
Yes.
It was a toss-up. Who
It was a toss-up.
Yeah, she was like, well,
Yeah, I'm finding out whose daughter that is.
Today?
She's cute.
And yes,
at your party.
and she said she wanted to come to a city council meeting.
So mine tried to come tonight too, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
there's a VBS tonight, so she's there.
There's a what tonight?
Vacation Bible School.
Oh,
Alice Rose Rock.
So exciting.
Thank you so much.
I haven't.
You,
been.
you ready?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Glasses.
We're now going to move to Parks and Recreation with Mrs. Hager to discuss the Ariel Foundation Park update.
Hello. Mr. Mike Miller, would you like to give us an update? We're so happy to see you.
Oh, thanks. I'll hurry up and hand these to y'all.
Thank you.
We can cheer for you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Good, Mike.
Yes, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. You look good.
Thanks for being here.
Sure.
I appreciate it so much.
Okay, well, thank you for allowing me to come and give a little presentation before the mayor and city council. And I was asked to contact Councilwoman Lynanne Hager to come and talk about I just gave you a copy of the 2024 annual report. As most of you know, or many of you know, I'm now managing at the foundation, at the park, Area Foundation Park, because you got Scott Zimmerman coming back to the city, which is a good thing. And he's a good person to follow up with. But I'll just go over the high points because I know what you just went through with some time. But if you want to follow along, that's fine. If not, I'll just hit some high points of the annual report. So 2024, the park focused on the ground care services and worked closely with partners and volunteers. And we would like to thank the TD Landscape, SOS Tree Service, and the City of Mount Vernon Parks Department for helping last year in 2024 to really help the grounds look really good. Last year, it really looked really good. We did some contract services for mowing along with park staff doing some of the other stuff. This year, we cut out a little bit more of the TD lawn service care, and with some creative staffing, we're mowing some more property there. And another high point of last year was work with some completion of the long-desired South Vernon neighborhood corridor revitalization. That's been in Knox Pages, I believe, where the park and the Conservancy partnered with the land bank in 2023. We transferred 15 parcels there in that Columbus Road area, because there is a plan that's been around for a while. I've seen it, most of you probably seen it. We partnered with the land bank, and then the land bank partnered with Habitat for Humanity. And they are in the process of building 12 new homes over this year and next year. And I think they've got 4 finished, but don't quote me on that. Because we've actually used some of the fill dirt from one of their projects to fill in a lot of potholes and holes in the park itself, which was a good thing. And so that, over the next couple of years, is going to help hopefully revitalize the neighborhood and with some beautification with some new homes in that part of the city in Clinton Township. So that is a really nice project. Some of the high points of last year, we had the solar eclipse, which was pretty popular. I think we had about 3,000 people there that day, and that was short notice. We had some the second year of the Sunset Socials, and I think, Lynanne, you came to the last social, and so did Amber. Came to that last social we had, and that was well attended. We had about 100 people there.
Bruce
Bruce,
there.
you were there? I didn't see you, but thanks for coming. But it was a good time. I've run into 3 people that I've never met in my life that I met that night, and they're planning on coming to the others because they had such a good time. So this is the 3rd year for those Sunset Socials. Of course, we had the summer kickoff last year with Thunderstruck, 4th of July fireworks. Mayor went off well last year without a hitch, if I remember correctly. Stopped raining with enough time, didn't it? It was wonderful.
I wasn't canceling it for anything.
No, I would not have either. But it was a good time. Of course, we had the fantastic dance party we had the Around the World Sunset Social, the Symphony Children's Concert, and then we had the After Dark Coop's Nightmare. And that was an interesting show, but it was interesting to go to. It was pretty interesting. It was cool. They had the giant Frankenstein puppet, which is, I stopped by just to see that. So, outreach and attendance, if you look on in there, you can see the number of people that we had attendance, and 4th of July was about 8,000 people last year. And then the solar eclipse, that was between 3,000 and 4,000 people. And you got a rough number of attendees that attended the other things. And the other big thing was last year was the second year, and I know the mayor's office is big on this, is the Servitus program, which we've already been in communication with the JROTC about this year, making it bigger and better, and trying to draw in more community partners and more community attendance for that. And I think they've got some good ideas and some good plans to helpfully do that, so that'll be really nice. Inside the brochure there is also the financial overview of the park board. You can see the marketing and outreach of 2024, and we appreciate that the city approved the funds for additional work and outreach this year in such a quick manner. That was wonderful. We greatly appreciate that, Mayor. And then to get on to this year, this is what I'm really excited about. Hopefully I'm making up some time for you. But this year we're really excited for this year. I am in particular because we have Ricky Skaggs, a man and his mandolin. I think that's one of the most beautiful instruments God ever created is the mandolin. You know, I think he's got 5 Grammys. I think we're up to just slightly up under, as of today, just slightly under 800 tickets sold for paid attendance. And those, so we still have some left. Those prices are from $28, I think, to $98 roughly. And we're hoping to sell between 800 and 900 tickets. And if we have to get more chairs, we'll do that. So if anybody's listening out there, if we hit 1,000, we'll get some more chairs in there. But so we have Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunderstruck, and they're going to be June 21st. That's coming up soon. We had a really good partnership with multiple partners for the Kids to Parks Day. So with the city, the Fish and Game Club, the Boy Scouts, Head Start, we had well over 1,000 people there that day. I think, Mary, you were there most of the day. It was a busy, crowded place. And I think everybody had a good time. The weather cooperated that day. And so we had a great time. Some other things that are going to happen this year. Anniversary message from the stage of the Schnormeyer Event Center is going to be at 7 p.m. to allow time for local elected officials and others to be able to address the crowd on the 4th of July. Probably the biggest thing, if you haven't been by the park for your walk yet, Mel, is the River of Glass renovation project.
I saw that the other
I
day.
know. It's wearing us out. It's a lot of work. But we have spent a lot of hours working on that. That is one of the things for the 10th anniversary. And we appreciate 30 Friends of the Conservancy, along with the city, making that project possible. Our goal is to have it done by the 21st of the month. We have all of the glass cullet placed in location to be able to have it glued down hopefully this week. And hopefully we get another 10, 20, or 30 years out of it this time. So it's been completely redesigned. If you haven't been out there to follow the progress, I would encourage people to stop by and take a look at it. I know I've been out there myself this past weekend, and people stopped by with compliments nonstop. Talked to people from Germany, and they're the furthest away this weekend. And they were just visiting Mount Vernon for the weekend because they were in Cleveland. But I've run across this many times. Mount Vernon is such a nice community. People actually come here and stay just for the weekend and get an Airbnb or stay at the Grand. And that's just because they see Mount Vernon and they read positive things and they come here and visit. And so that was quite interesting. They were the furthest. A lot of people from all over the state. I had all corners of the state but Cincinnati this weekend. And I probably talked to 20 people while we're moving glass around. So that's wonderful. And it's a good sign for the community and for the park. Social media messaging is going to be planned leading up and just following the 4th of July. And it's going to talk about timelines of the Ariel Foundation Park, highlights of the key features of the park, storytelling about the last 10 years, about some of the different things that have happened out of the park. And a lot of things have happened out there. And about the impact that it brings to the community. And then we're also planning some special community features and congratulatory messages to celebrate 10 years of Ariel Foundation Park coming up for this year. and those are all in the works right now. And so there's a lot of positive things happening at the park right now. I think the park looks good, and we have a lot of visitation. For those that don't get there enough, you should come every day, but and visit. But there's a lot of use. It's looking pretty good. Can always look better, but we're moving forward with a lot of renovation stuff this year with the 10th anniversary. The board has asked it's 10 years. It's time to fix a few things up. And we greatly appreciate those people that have made the extra donations for the River of Glass. And we're hoping to our original goal was July 4th, and it looks like we'll be done by June 21st. That way we can have everything spruced up and looking really good for hopefully a 900 or 1,000 people at a Ricky Skaggs concert. So, but I will be happy to entertain any questions that you have. Please read through the annual report of 2024. Look forward to providing it for you for next year in 25, and I hope I've made up some time for you.
I have a question. What's the current relationship between the Aerial Foundation Park Conservancy and the city? It's a city park, but when it first came to pass, Aerial Foundation was going to give us $40,000 a year to maintain grass and all that. And then they decided they would do that for a period of time, and then it's, as I understand, it's supposed to revert back to the city? Or
Yes, the Conservancy Board has been, and these people understand and know a lot, because we've been involved in negotiations for like a year to work back towards that end goal of the overall, Bruce, I guess the overall arching goal is for the city next year to take over operations and maintenance of the facility, of the park, and then for the Conservancy to deal with special programming and programs like Ricky Skaggs concerts and things like that. Things that maybe the city might not be as equipped to handle as how it is currently structured right now between MVAC and the Conservancy. Because that is special skills to book some of these acts and things like that. But we're in negotiations for ironing all of those responsibilities out right now. And those funds right now are all being negotiated as far as for monies going back to the city to maintenance and maintain that park. Because there are two separate funds. There's a capital fund and then that maintenance fund. And that's what we're all working through right now. So right now, we're in discussion still with the mayor's office and the city law director's office working through this contract to come up with a final result by hopefully sooner than later. But it's looked at as a positive thing, but there's been a lot of discussion because I've been involved with it for 4 years, this whole discussion. From before I was on council to when I was on council, because I was a board member when I retired from the state for the Conservancy. And there's been a lot of discussion, and there's been a lot of change in city government, and there's been change on the park board to work towards that goal. But I think there's a lot of room there for a lot of mutual cooperation, and I think the park board's ability to handle specialized things is more than, see, like an example is the city, I don't think is quite equipped to spend like Friday and Saturday and Sunday evenings cleaning up after somebody's rented the clock house or the KCFP. So, you know, they're basically booked almost every weekend for the entire summer. And with the way the park board is structured and with funding and with rental rates, there's things those are the type of things we're discussing of how to handle those things, because the city would require maybe additional staff to do some of that or restructuring of its internal staff. So I think there's a lot of room for mutual cooperation there to fix that problem. But as far as, you know, the concern's $40,000, I don't think that's a big concern. I think the board, since I've been involved with it, has trimmed and learned different ways to cut costs to get things fixed and taken care of there at the park. As an example, this year, for summer staff and summer help, it looks like we're going to cut the costs in half from previous years, hopefully again, with some creative staffing, and we have wonderful staff this year for getting things done. And that really is beneficial for the community. Well, here's the example. Instead of having 3 staff at 40 hours a week, we got 1 at 40 and 2 at 20. And this with flexibility and creative scheduling, we're able to hopefully save 20 grand out of a $40,000 budget, I believe I have. So we're looking for ways to do that. But I think we'll have a pretty good thing here next year. And I think things are just going to move forward and be bigger and better.
Any other questions for him?
I'll get a hold of him later,
Okay.
because I know we're out of time.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
We're
Yeah.
going to adjourn the Parks and Recreations Committee. We're going to move now to Land Use and Development with Mrs. Keener to discuss donation of property.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is with regards to Resolution 2025-58. I think that this is really just pretty standard. There's some adjacent land, and it's being distributed back to the adjacent landowners.
They put up a fence, and everybody assumes that the property line is the fence. It is not. There's a little swath of property outside of the fence that belongs to the land bank and to the whatever they're calling it these days. And what they're doing is they're giving that little swath of land that's outside the fence to the adjacent property owners. The city is getting a little piece, and every other adjacent landowner along that fence is getting a piece of property.
Yeah, so it's 0.015 acres, which is roughly, is that 665.9 square feet?
Sure.
Yeah.
So there's a nice little picture with a highlighted thing. Unless there's some like real roadblock or barrier to us, I'm just going to take this to its third and final reading.
Proposing a splash pad.
Yeah, we're going to just put it in there.
Just put a hose with holes in it. So.
And I think, unless anybody has any real questions, who's going to mow it?
We're already mowing it.
Okay.
I mean, that's why they're giving it, because the people who are on the side of the fence where the land bank owns the property, are already taking care of that part. So it doesn't actually impact anything.
Yeah.
Let's
So-
do it.
I think that's all the time I need. Thank you.
We're going to adjourn the Land Use and Development Committee. Going to move now to Finance and Budget. Mrs. Seabolt, discuss appropriation adjustments. Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. I guess we're going to let you talk.
Oh. Oh, goody. Come on, Dan.
Yeah, go to it.
All right. All right,
Oh,
so
you're gonna talk.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Tanner might provide the assist on a few of these things, but we'll give it a go. So we have a few things. Todd, were you able to amend the one or not
Yeah,
quite?
the attachment will be amended. So
Okay.
the legislation still has to be amended, but as far as the actual text, it's not the legislation, it's the attachment, the exhibit A will be
Okay.
amended.
So, all right, the bulk of these appropriation adjustments have to do with probation, because probation had received a grant that they need to spend down in the next 2 weeks, like $195,000. So they got some spending to do, and unless some of these lines are moved for them, we're going to have some trouble doing it. So, I mean, probation ran into some trouble because they had planned on a lot of this money going toward a certain employee. The employee left, and maybe they didn't adjust as quickly as they might have, but here we are. So that's the bulk of it. One of the last sections has to do with increasing a line for the police station's towing, so they don't have to keep increasing it as they keep receiving funds. So should be enough to keep them going for the rest of the year.
If I
Also
could
have
jump in right here as well. So with that, this is grant funding too. So one of the things that we want to correct with this, and the reason that we didn't just kind of move this through earlier, is we will keep falling into this cycle because we manage this probation grant through the general fund. And as you've seen with several of our other funds, we try to manage these, perpetual grants in the non-general fund. So we don't mix these figures. We wanted to fix this, and that's why with another piece of legislation, we created the 230. And Dan will talk about that in a second.
yeah.
I'm prepping him. Sure. You're welcome, Dan. But, so while we're adjusting these appropriations specifically for the 2025 budget, we're also creating that 230 fund in another piece of legislation, so we won't have to do this again. We won't have to fall back into this again. And specifically separating down at the bottom of that piece of legislation, the impound lot increased appropriations by $24,000. New total is 24,631. This is a lot of, this is not a total expense. This is in and out. So as, you know, as we impound these vehicles.
I think we
you know-
bumped it to 30
I was
in
just
the-
gonna
in
say,
the amendment.
the email's
Yeah.
the current,
Okay,
right?
sorry, I don't have.
So
the-
there were two
Okay.
pieces of legislation that we combined into one. So since this took a couple council meetings to get to, we adjusted some of these numbers in 2025-60 is kind of some of the updated numbers for this, which you'll have in the new amendment to
Sorry.
this. But to go to the funds that Tanner was talking about, yeah, we're establishing that fund for better tracking. You'll see that in 2025-61. Number of different lines. I mean, again, it's because they go from June to July, or July to June, sorry, in the way this grant is handed out. And obviously we were January to December 31st over here. So we want to be able to track it better. The establishment of that fund helps us track it better. We're also creating a fund for Municipal Facilities Improvement Fund to deal with the new police station and to handle funds from a grant which we already received funding for, which we need to also start thinking about spending. And that's going to be included also, hopefully, in the 2025-57 for you, increasing appropriations for the 2 million on both the revenue and the expense side, so they can begin spending that money, because the clock is ticking on that. Not ticking quite as fast as probation that we talked about, but Tanner could probably elaborate a little bit more on.
Designed for the police station.
Yeah. So, I don't know that we want to get too into the weeds on that one, but another thing that we did was, we did find that we had talked about, trying to untangle this spaghetti plate of the accounting internally. We did find the perpetual care fund for the cemetery. We do have one. And we're appropriating it now. We're not spending any of that money, but we do want to establish it now. That way, as we move forward into the next budget, you'll be able to see it, and we'll build from there. And that's that 801 that you're seeing there. And then the 407, so we have the 401, that's our capital fund, and a 405, that's another more of an infrastructure capital fund. Even in these last conversations, when we were talking about, the different municipal facilities and how we were going to operate revenues and grants and different expenditures out through those, we already had, specifically when we were talking about Fairgrounds Road and how we were going to do the chargebacks with the county, we were concerned about taking those funds and confusing those funds and the project dollars that we had for internally with the city. And Brian and I had extensive conversations about, there's got to be a more creative way to not confuse those dollars, that we operate internally with the funds that we have. And we knew that with the influx of cash that we were going to be receiving with bonds, with loans, with different programs for these municipal facilities, we said, well, why don't we just go ahead and create another municipal facilities fund in the same way that we have a 401 and a 405. So that's why we created the 407. That way, when we're doing the budgeting, when we're doing the accounting, you can separate out those dollars, and you're not confusing, street dollars, sidewalk dollars, and general infrastructure dollars with the dollars that we're using, like this 2 million that we received from the state one-time strategic fund. You're not confusing that with what we're doing with the police department.
Dan, did I hear you say there should be a $2 million appropriation in here?
That was in the amendment that we're,
The email that went out?
It's at the very bottom, the 407.
407.
Is that what you're talking
Yeah, it's 407,
Oh, it's in blue. I apologize.
blue, yeah, it's in
Okay,
the blue,
it's in
yeah.
blue.
So the blue part is the amendment to this, correct?
Actually, I mean, yeah, that one is unique to the amendment. I mean,
Okay,
a lot of the text of 57 got replaced with the text that was in 60, so we just got rid of 60 in large part, folded them in together. The only uniquely new thing, I believe, would be that 2 million that was added in.
okay. So when we get to the meeting, President Hawkins, we will have to remove 60?
Yes,
And amend 57.
yes.
remove.
So resolution 60 is coming out.
That's what I'm understanding.
Because there was a lot of, I mean, it was just
57
kind of
is
as
amended.
time progressed, we kind of adjusted some things the more we found out from probation and figured better to, might as well save some time too.
Yep.
Did you have anybody had any other questions on anything? Okay. Well, thank you.
It's always hard for me to get my mind around all these funds, but what I'm understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Tanner or Dan, is that essentially we're trying to like separate these facility funds so that just they're easier to track. Money
Yes.
coming in and money coming out, grant money or whatever. I think it maybe gives us a little more clarity to see what the funds are rather than just having it all lumped into a general fund and accounts that don't make sense. To me, it makes more sense. I like to see things separated. We don't need, a million accounts, so to speak, but I mean, for me, it's easier to understand and to track these if we separate something like facilities funds. I appreciate that. I like that direction. frankly.
Absolutely. It gives us a more accurate picture of where we
Yes.
actually are. Or say, oh, we got 37 million or whatever the sum is, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, so much of this is X grants for engineering, some of this is 2 million for this. So it's gives us a more fuller picture of where we're actually at.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that it?
I guess that's it.
Okay, we're going to adjourn the finance and budget. We're going to be in recess now until 7:30 PM. We begin the legislative portion of the meeting.
Just a reminder that the two TIF ordinances
Going to call the legislative portion of Mount Vernon City Council to order. Mr. Hill, please call the roll.
Mr. Mahan. Mrs. Woods.
Here.
Mr. Ruckman.
Here.
Ms. Keener.
Here.
Mrs. Hager.
Here.
Mrs. Seaval.
Here.
Mr. Severance.
Here.
We are in session, and Pastor Tim Overly from the Covenant Church will give the invocation. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. Father, we just thank you, Lord, for our city council, and we ask for you to give them and grant them the wisdom and the revelation and the knowledge of you, Lord, and all the decisions that they have to make. And there are many decisions, and we ask for your favor. We ask for your provision financially for our city, Lord, that you would just provide those things that we need. We thank you that you are Jehovah Jireh. God, we pray also, Lord God, that you would just order our steps. We pray that you would continue, Lord God, to give us favor, Lord, with those that we come in contact with, Lord, and the words to speak. And Father, even during this meeting, Lord, there are difficult issues that need to be addressed, and may you help in that process. We thank you that, Lord, you are a very present help in the time of trouble. Therefore, we don't have to fear. And we know we live in troublous times, but God, you are our answer, and we look to you once again because you are our refuge and you are our strength. And God, that's why we can have peace. And we have peace today in you. In Jesus' name, we'll give you the praise, the glory, and the honor. Amen.
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 Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, in your packet were the minutes from the May 12th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, I'd ask for a motion for approval.
So move.
Second.
And moved and second, they be approved. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. Mr. Cohen, any petitions or communications?
There are none.
The committee reports you received, liquor control licenses. Mrs. Woods.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have one liquor license application for Kroger Company doing business as Kroger 0820 at 855 Coshocton Avenue. If you would like to make any responses to this application, please do so to the council clerk by the 23rd of June.
Thank you. I see no proclamations or people wanting to speak on matters of city concern. So we'll move to the legislative portion of the meeting, and as I understand it, there's been a need to remove resolution number 2025-60. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so with that removal, are there any other additions or corrections to the legislative portion? I understand we'll have an amendment also to 2025-57, but that'll come up at that time. And so any other additions or corrections? If not, I'll assume it's approved by consensus. We'll move now to resolutions for third reading, and that's resolution number 2025-57. Mrs. Seabolt.
You don't want him to read it.
Mr. Hill.
You want
Oh, I'm
Mr.
sorry, Mr. Hill. I don't want to cut you off, Mr. Hill.
Resolution number 2025-57, a resolution to adjust appropriations for current expenses for the city of Mount Vernon, state of Ohio, during fiscal year ending December 31, 2025.
Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. Do I amend this first before I need to amend this, but I'm a little unclear. We need to amend this. Todd, do you want to read what?
Yeah, I can, well, we're adding two things that were in Resolution 60, which has been removed. And I'll read that. This is under the heading, this is in the Exhibit A, under General Fund Appropriations. The subheading is Police Department. Increase appropriations to 101.1950.54111 impound lot towing by $30,000. New total, $30,631. The other subheading under General Fund Appropriations is Non-General Fund Appropriations, Cemetery. That is to increase appropriations to 801.3100.56611 perpetual care by $113,146.55. The new total being $113,146.55. Those are the things that were in resolution number 60.
And I think Dan said, isn't there more that you were?
Well, that's what you just mentioned.
Oh,
Also, there is an addition. This was not in Resolution 60. This is an addition to Exhibit A in 57, Resolution 57, subheading 407 Municipal Facilities Improvement Fund. This is the creation of these two funds, or these two lines under the fund. One is 407.3600.41402 grants. Increase appropriations by $2 million. New total is $2 million. Also, 407.3600.55514 facilities. Increase appropriations by $2 million. New total, $2 million. Is that correct?
As long as it's got the 20 or so lines from the 60. in
And
there.
well, yeah, that's already in there
okay.
for the probation department.
Yeah.
My question is, the new total for the cemetery perpetual care is the same as the old total? 1,113.
That one probably just didn't change.
But a lot of the lines that were in the legislation originally, the dollar amounts have changed.
Yes,
Is
that was
correct?
Yeah, and that was mostly having to do with probation, getting more information from them on the status of their grant.
Okay, so Mr. Seabold, are you making that amendment to the resolution as was read?
Yes, please.
Is there a second to that amendment?
Second.
Any discussion on the amendment?
I just want to make sure everybody's clear that what was in the original legislation is being completely replaced by what was in the email. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is what was part of mostly 60. We just, because
We're still
57
good.
was older numbers than 60, so we replaced it, and then the only two new, completely new things were the fund appropriations for the 407.
Any other discussion on the amendment? So now we're voting on the amendment to resolution number 2025-57.
We don't have to vote on that first?
You have to vote on the amendment.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Hill?
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabold,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
The resolution is amended. Now we come back to the original resolution as amended. That's resolution number 2025-57 as amended.
Correct. I'd move to adopt resolution number 2025-57 as amended.
Second.
Then moved and seconded for the adoption of this resolution as amended. Any other discussion? Mr. Hill?
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabold,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
That's resolution. It's adopted as amended. Now I move to resolutions for second reading. The first resolution is resolution number 2025-58. Mr. Hill?
Resolution number 2025-58, a resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director of the City of Mount Vernon to accept the donation of property from the Knox County Land Reutilization Corporation and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Keener?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend the rules and take Resolution 2025-58 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Hill?
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabold,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
The roll is suspended. Mrs. Keener?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to adopt Resolution 2025-58.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Keener?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is very straightforward. We are just accepting a bit of land. There's a map in the attached, and I think that we covered everything.
Mr. Hill?
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabold,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Next resolution is resolution number 2025-59. Mr. Hill?
Resolution number 2025-59, a resolution authorizing and directing the Safety Service Director to prepare and submit an application to Ohio Department of Natural Resources Nature Works Grant Program for construction of a restroom at Arch Park and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Hager.
I move to suspend the rule requiring 3 separate readings and take Resolution 2025-59 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Then moved and seconded for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mrs. Hager.
I move to adopt Resolution 2025-59.
Second.
Then moved and seconded for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Hager.
Again, this is kind of straightforward. It's a grant, and we've submitted for it, and it doesn't really require a lot of conversation. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Any other questions? Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Next resolution is resolution number 2025-61. Mr. Hill.
Resolution number 2025-61, a resolution authorizing and directing the auditor of the City of Mount Vernon to create a new fund to be named 230 Fund CCA Grant pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 5705.09F and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules requiring 3 separate readings and take resolution number 2025-62 to its third and final reading.
Second. And 61.
Oh, 61, sorry.
And moved and seconded for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. I move to adopt resolution number 2025-61.
Second.
And moved and seconded for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. Dan, are you going to talk about this?
Yes. So this piece of legislation establishes 2 funds for the city, both to better track grant dollars received that are often on different fiscal year schedules than the city is. The 230 fund helps out the probation department, which gets a grant to pay for a number of things called the CCA grant. They're on a July to June fiscal year, which is different than ours. And the 407, which is being created, will help Municipal Facilities Improvement Fund for a $2 million grant that the city received last fall.
Any other questions? Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Next resolution is resolution number 2025-62. Mr. Hill.
Resolution number 2025-62, a resolution authorizing and directing the auditor of the City of Mount Vernon to pay bills pursuant to Section 5705.41D, then and now certification.
Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules that require 3 separate readings and take resolution number 2025-62 to its third and final reading.
Second.
And moved and seconded for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
The roll is suspended. Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. I move to adopt resolution number 2025-62.
Second.
And moved and seconded for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. Dan, I've got some then and now.
Yes, ma'am, we do. So, first one, the Aaron Oakley custom wired was budgeted and planned for. The PO was in place in 2024, and it expired with the end of the new year, and they didn't transfer over when the new year hit. For the second one, the MORPC, Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission. Used to be paid from a different department, and that ceased and kind of just got lost in the shuffle there.
And it was sent to a wrong email.
The third and fourth ones are from my department. The third one is a bond payment to JP Morgan Chase. Previous auditor had wired the payment, so there was no PO previously, but it was anticipated and budgeted for. That bond is for wastewater. Fourth one was for payroll. The invoice got lost, but it was budgeted for. And on the fifth one, they were a day late in creating the purchase order because they had just expensed out a previous purchased order, but it was planned and budgeted for.
Any other discussion? Mr. Hill?
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted. Next resolution is resolution number 2025-63. Mr. Hill.
Resolution number 2025-63, a resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to dispose of vehicles in the Police Department not needed for public use by the City of Mount Vernon and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Seabolt.
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules requiring 3 separate readings and take resolution number 2025-63 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
The roll is suspended. Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. I move to adopt resolution number 2025-63.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. Well, we get to sell some cars, my favorite part. Now we got a Jeep, it's a Ford Escort. Tanner, what are we gonna do with all these neat cars?
We're gonna put them on Gov Deals.
Okay, so we're gonna get some money now. We got lots of neat cars for sale.
And one Jeep could probably be eligible for the historical
Right,
license.
yeah. That's
To
what you want.
99. Any other questions?
Collectors.
Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Next resolution is resolution number 2025-64. Mr. Hill.
Resolution number 2025-64, a resolution confirming the mayor's reappointment of Sarah Wagner to the Shade Tree and Beautification Commission for a 3-year term and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Woods.
Thank you, sir. I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 separate readings and take resolution 2025-64 to its third and final reading.
Second.
And moved and seconded for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
The roll is suspended. Mrs. Woods.
Move to adopt resolution 2025-64.
Second.
And moved and seconded for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Woods.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Madam Chair and Council, thank you very much. Sarah has been doing a terrific job for us. She's been in her role here for a few years now, really likes the job and is excited to be a part of this. And we like having those people on our boards and commissions, so appreciate the affirmative vote.
Once again, we appreciate all those volunteers that serve on these commissions. Hey, there's several of them, many of them, and we appreciate what they add to the city. Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted, and that concludes the resolutions. Now we move to ordinances. The one we've been waiting for is ordinance number 2025-14. It's a long one.
Ordinance number 2025-14, an ordinance declaring the improvement of certain real property located in the city of Mount Vernon, Ohio, to be a public purpose, creating the Liberty Crossing Incentive District, declaring the improvements to real property within the incentive district to be a public purpose, declaring such property within the incentive district to be exempt from real property taxation, describing the public infrastructure improvements made or to be made to directly benefit or serve the parcels for which improvements are declared to be a public purpose, requiring annual service payments in lieu of taxes during the periods of exemption, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payments, authorizing the execution of a tax increment financing agreement, and approving related matters.
Skinner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am going to postpone ordinance 2025-14 until June 23rd. We will be having a public hearing on that at 7 p.m. The reason for this postponement was so that we could provide the 30 days. Is
No,
it
the
30 days? That's not how it works.
the statutory number of advertisements. It has to go in 3 consecutive weeks. And under the original plan, we couldn't meet that. Or
Do we have to second the postponement?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Just because we want to hear him read that again.
Yeah, we haven't, we can't get enough.
Wow.
Okay. Any discussion on the postponement to June 23rd? Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
The ordinance is postponed till June 23rd. The next ordinance is ordinance number 2025-15. Mr. Hill.
Ordinance number 2025-15, an ordinance declaring the improvement of certain real property located in the city of Mount Vernon, Ohio, to be a public purpose, declaring such property to be exempt from real property taxation, designating public improvements to be made that will benefit such property, requiring annual service payments in lieu of taxes, and establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund, and authorizing the execution of a tax increment financing agreement.
Mrs. Gainer.
Thank you, Mr. President. This one, I'm sorry, I am also going to postpone ordinance number 2025-15 until June 23rd as well.
Second. Second.
Second. Okay. Been moved and second for the postponement of this. Any discussion on the postponement? Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
The ordinance is postponed till June 23rd. The final ordinance this evening is for second reading. That's ordinance number 2025-16. Mr. Hill.
Ordinance number 2025-16, an ordinance to revise the City of Mount Vernon credit card use policy and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules that require 3 separate readings and take ordinance number 2025-16 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Been moved and second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Hill.
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Rule is suspended. Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-16.
Second.
Been moved and second for the adoption of this ordinance. Any discussion? Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. Tanner or Dan, who wants to talk about what changes were being made here?
So I can talk at the 30,000-foot level. Rob, our law director, wrote the legislation, but it broadly it expands the ability to get a credit card from only the safety service and the mayor to other departments such as the auditor's office, law director's office.
Yeah, I mean, it just basically, originally, it was expanded to those 2 elected office holders just for purposes mostly of travel for various types of trainings and things. I don't know that the law director's office is going to get a credit card, and I don't know if the auditor's is, but under the previous legislation, we could not. So we just added them in case we did. If we do, they will be included in all the reports that are required to be made to council under the revised code and this policy.
It is
But-
amazing how many of those things, like Conference won't take a purchase order anymore.
No, they don't.
And there's been a number of times where I think we had wanted to go to a training that was in town, but we could only write a check, and
Yeah.
so I think this
Putting
is
that
a
on employees
great.
that might
Yeah.
not have $4,000 for conference or any of those fees is it's a good thing to not have to do.
You're starting to get to like arbitrations and things like that, that those individuals don't even accept.
Yeah.
They don't even want a purchase order anymore, so it's
Yeah,
starting to become a necessary thing and not a
To get a
preference.
panel of
Starting to
arbitrators, you have to
become.
put in a credit card
I'm
number
being cute.
to get 5 of them out, and so,
And the state auditor likes to watch those very closely when they come in to do the audit.
They do.
Any other questions? Mr. Hill?
Mr. Mahan, Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener,
yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seaval,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted, and that concludes the legislative portion of the meeting. We now move to,
Mr. President, can we move to excuse Mr. Mahan? I think that we did not.
okay,
we did not, yes.
is there a second?
I second it.
The moved and second, Mr. Mahan be excused. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. He is excused.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Mayor Starr?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President and Council. I am sorry I didn't get around to an update to you. I kind of ran out of steam and bandwidth this week, so I apologize. What I will bring you up to speed on is probably why it was I ran out of steam. But get the other things out of the way. MORPC update, there is going to be a rural forum on mobility and workforce development, June 17th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a facility in Delaware. Looks really good. If you are interested in being a part of that, I would just email me and I'll send you the link. We're members, and so you're covered, as well as your lunch. Anyway, that's going on with MORPC. We do have a couple of job postings. Public Works technician for our parks and public utilities. We have a maintenance mechanic that has been posted, so hopefully we'll see some movement there. The TIRC, the Tax Incentive Review Commission, will be meeting Friday, and so Mr. Brinkman and I will be heading over there. We will be reviewing with the county offices and the townships and the school boards on all of the economic development incentives that are in place. They get graded this year, and as you all know, we make a recommendation in that meeting. The TIRC makes a recommendation, and those recommendations for the city-related come back to you to approve whether or not to continue the economic incentive, whether it's a CRA or it's an enterprise zone or it's whatever we have there. And we basically will also report the financials on the TIF district. So anyway, so that's going on. I did want to make sure to mention to you, one of the things that has been demanding a lot of my attention right now is there are some Ohio legislative matters that are of significant municipal interest, and has got my attention, has got the attention of a lot of mayors and a lot of governments around the state of Ohio. There are 3, potentially 4 that could truly impact our financial well-being and also our home rule, our ability to govern ourselves. The first one is House Bill 92. This is one of the things that really complicates our ability to go after delinquent utilities accounts. This basically would have us go on a wild goose chase to go after renters only. So right now we have the property owner is responsible for the negligent utility bill, and this new legislation would remove that, and so we would have to spin our wheels trying to go after that. This is going to waste time, and you know what happens. We have to pass the costs on to somebody else. Guess who that is? Our other customers. It does not sit well with me, and I can tell it doesn't sit well with you either, and it won't sit well with the rest of the public. So anyway, that is something, and in fact, I have provided testimony against this for the House Local Government Committee. Another one is House Bill 113. This has to do with zoning and annexation reform. This essentially strips our power, or our seat at the table, and takes us out of even in the Type 2 annexation. And so this is something that really would be counter to the Mount Vernon growth plan that we have approved through the comprehensive plan. And so this is another thing that is garnering my attention. And so I've been in touch with our state representative about this. And I'm reaching out to State Senator Brenner as well. But again, taking away municipal control over our own destiny does not, it is not, it's like we're being asked to continue to keep building as the state continues to take our tools away from us. And so I'm trying to protect that very much in our city, along with the 921 other cities and villages in Ohio who have a stake in this as well. On the Senate side, Senate Bill 104, this is on short-term rental properties. This is right now, as it is stated, even the substitute version is a preemption of the state, which again takes away our ability to handle our own lodging taxes for Airbnbs and VRBOs. It puts a cap on the fees that we could charge. It takes away an annual fee and does a one-time fee, and it reduces that $50 to $20, and then of course it centralizes the collection, which we may get a cut back, and it maximizes that collection. And so again, this is money that goes into our lodging tax fund, which goes to market our community for other. It's a designated fund. We can't use it for anything else. Yes, the Ariel Foundation Park got to marketing because of the funds that are through the available petition fund that is through this, and so they're able to, it's able to do this. And so this not only would limit our ability to collect that, but it would also supersede any zoning code that we had. So if we had, let's say, if there was a district, a historic district or something that had no short-term rentals are allowed in this district, it would supersede that. Again, take away our home rule. And so I've been in touch with Senator Brenner about that one since he's the sponsor. So I look forward to talking with him. The last one, which nearly put everybody in the state of Ohio over the edge, was House Bill 335. This is newly introduced and removes inside millage for municipalities. This will hurt.
It's all inside.
Everybody.
It's all inside millage except for the townships. Townships are untouched. So last year, our inside millage combining with fire, police, and general fund generated $1.266 million. So we would feel that. And so we'll be, I'm sure, taking a very hard look at this. I know OML is sending out, they've sent out a survey to provide some information on that, but I apologize. I feel like I've been working for this state the last week and just trying to protect our revenue streams and our ability to govern ourselves here. But I consider that part of this job too. So if you have any gumption or want to learn more about these, please review the OML newsletter. They do a very nice job on that weekly update. And if you want to come in and discuss this, it would be lovely. But I may be spending more time in Columbus over the next couple of weeks. So anyway, Mr. President, that's all I have now.
Thank you. Things are, this is funny season down State House with budget bill and all that stuff. It's kind of a hectic time down there.
Yeah.
Mr. Sayers.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Utilities Commission has voted to recommend an updated waste haulers piece of legislation to you. Mr. Brewer and I will work on getting that legislation, making it amenable for you to receive, so you can go through your readings and hear from the public, and make sure that updates all the necessary things that we need to update. There's a section in our code that's 755, I believe, that talks about curbside recycling, waste hauler, making sure that it's contained and making sure that everybody's licensed to operate within the city of Mount Vernon. So this is a piece of legislation that we reviewed internally, and then we went through 2 readings at the Utilities Commission to make sure that what we're putting forward with both with all of our stakeholders, with DKMM, And we had a lot of conversation on that, making sure that this is something that both serves the city of Mount Vernon and the residents, and even our waste haulers, serves us well. So we want to make sure that we had a good product before we brought it to council before your vetting process started. But Rob and I will work on that, make sure that checks all the boxes before it gets to you, and once it does, there you go. We sent out about 384 surveys to the Arch neighborhood. That's Sandusky to Fountain and High Street to Arch. We did receive a handful of those surveys back in the mail. Some were vacant addresses, some were bad addresses. So if you are in that neighborhood and you think you should have received, whether you're a landowner or a homeowner or a tenant, you feel like you should have received a survey, please let us know and we can get one of those to you. You can come to City Hall and receive a survey, or we can mail one to you. Right now, we've got about approaching 40 responses. As we anticipated, Mrs. Hager reached out. People overwhelmingly do want the bathroom. The leading response is a bathroom, a covered picnic area, traditional playground equipment, and the accessible fishing area off of Arch Park. When we're looking specifically at Arch improvements.
If they haven't got one, they call me. If you call me, I will run it to your house.
Also,
So I'm in that neighborhood.
John Ruckman is playing mailman
Yeah.
for that area. So,
Taking Rich's job.
yeah, how's
seen it
that
run.
for service? So that is all, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brightman.
Yes, Mr. President. In the interest of finding some money for the city, one of our deputies in my office, Emily Vanderbrake, discovered we were not taking advantage of the motor fuel tax rebate, which should conservatively add around $40,000 a year to the city's coffers. And even better news, we get to go back about a year to collect money that we haven't applied for, 365 days from when we submit it to them. So we'll be getting a nice check here soon. So thank you.
Can they hear that? Can they hear what he said from? Okay, thank you. Sometimes we need to come up here. So. Mr. Stoller left, I believe. Mr. Braun.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Severance.
Nothing.
Mrs. Sable.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mrs. Woods.
Miss Alice Ruckman, happy birthday. Thank you for spending it with us. That is very brave of you.
She knows how to have a good time.
I'm partying with council.
That's all.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. You stole my thunder.
I'm
I was-
sorry. You owe
No.
her something.
I do. Yes, I wanted to wish a happy birthday happy 13th birthday to my eldest daughter, Alice Ruckman. She chose to come here and spend it with us this evening. So, wishing her a happy birthday, and also thank everybody who was involved in First Friday. That was awesome. We had great weather and a good crowd. That was a good turnout. I was glad to see everybody and catch up with some of the neighbors, and as Tanner brought up with that on the West End by Arch Avenue, if you are over there and you have gotten that and it's sitting on the desk, you haven't filled it out yet, please take the time to actually fill that out and turn it in. The more information that we can get on that, the better. I feel like we have some obvious runaway leads as far as the neighborhood's priorities and what we would like to see done over there, but the more information and the more community and citizen input we can have, the better. So
That
thank you.
deadline's June 27th, by the way.
Deadline is June 27th. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mrs. Skinner.
Thank you, Mr. President. My son is at Boys State this week, and I am very excited, and I've only gotten one phone call, so I think it's going well. But wishing all those kids good luck out there. We have 2 from Mount Vernon who were sent. Tanner has something to say.
Martin City Pride.
Additionally, I would like to ask for a 15-minute committee meeting for an update from the America 250 Commission on July 28th. That's a ways out, but Todd, if you can make a note of that for whoever. That's all, Mr. President.
Mrs. Hager.
Oh, I just wanted to encourage people to take advantage of the amazing live music we have in our community. To see Ricky Skaggs on the 21st at Ariel Foundation Park, and we have this extraordinary front porch series, which is the third Friday of June, July, and August, right there on East High Street, and their very first one for this year will be on June 20th. So if you love music like I do, 20th, front porch, 21st, Ricky Skaggs. It's excellent to be in Mount Vernon.
Thank you. I would like to congratulate the girls softball team.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe we ought to have them in here and give them a proclamation. Getting all the way to the state finals is quite an accomplishment.
Extraordinary.
And I listened to that on WMVO, and they've done a great job, and it's quite an accomplishment. So maybe we ought to give them some recognition from City Council if they would like to come in. Thank you, the media, for being here this evening, and thank you, council. That being said, I call for adjournment.
So move.
Second?
And moving and second, we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Is it,
What's
I
that?
beg your pardon, do you adjourn and then people get to speak, or?
No.
Do I get to speak? I came in just to speak for 4 minutes.
Oh.
Can I do that, please?
Well, we have a portion on the meeting where, there's a form you fill out and you can come and talk,
Oh, I had no idea.
and that's how it works.
I apologize. I'll do that next time.
Next time around, and just let the clerk know, and there's a form, you have 4 minutes to speak. If you need an additional 4 minutes, you can ask council for that. But that's how the public participation works. Sorry you didn't understand that.
That's all right. Yes, sir.
So June 27 would be our next meeting.
Yeah. We welcome comments from the public.
23.
23rd, sorry, June 23.
Don't listen.
Monday, June 23rd.
I may have to, again, I don't mean to interrupt. The gentleman from Ariel Foundation Park gave me some names of some folks, and I'm going to try in the meantime, because I can't almost wait till then. What I have to say is more critical in time, in my opinion. So they suggested that I speak with Mr. Tanya Salyers, the city safety director, Tom Hinkle, who is in charge of city streets, Brian Ball, the city engineer, and Rob, I can't pronounce his last name, Buren, who is the law director. Because apparently all of those people may be part of the tangled web of the problem that I'm facing, and that I can't seem to get a resolution for, even though I've already talked to the city, the county, Clinton Township, and now I will have a chance, but again, it's more time sensitive,
Okay.
and I apologize. I'm still talking.
Yeah. Sorry that wasn't clear on how we
I just
did.
haven't had this many people, important people, listen to what I have to say since my last jury trial. I'm kidding, it's a joke.
All right.
But,
Did we already vote?
No, we haven't voted.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.
Janice, you need